Now today in the shop we worked on the MT09 rear wheel. We still have a lot of the powder coating to get off. I showed some of the tools that I've used in the past that worked well, and a tool that I haven't shown on video yet, but it seems to be working pretty well for me, and it's adjustable radius so that you can use it for other jobs as well as this. It worked better than I thought it did, and I've been experimenting with different tools on the whole course of the time I've been working on the MT09 wheels, and this looks like one of the tools that'll be a keeper, and I'll have it in inventory for future projects and especially for future wheels that we're going to do. So I hope you do enjoy the presentation. This is a labor of love. Boy, is today ever a special day. Wow, we're closing in on having that wheel ground and sand. I have some sanding tips that I wanted to include on this. I've been working with some new ideas to do some of that detail work. Maybe even, if it's our lucky day, get the rest of the wheel sanded out in the next day or two. And what's really special about it is we're supposed to have a couple of days of nice weather. May even sneak a ride in. You never know. I don't get my hopes up too high, because the weatherman every once in a while, he gives you some bad information. Well, maybe I give you bad information too. But we would love to get a ride in if that was possible. But I'm not going to hold my breath. So our first objective, of course, is always to get the next shop day on the wheel. And it's coming out great. When I look at the front wheel, it just inspires me to get the back wheel done. And the fact that the weather is a little bit warmer, that's actually reasonable weather. It's not brutal, and it's such a nice thing. It's like an unexpected treat. I was real happy to see how many people thought this was the right way to go, and they're happy with the stuff that we're doing to the MT09. It's really nice getting those emails every day. And every one of these wheels, every one of these restorations is out on our channel, and we do try to post something up almost every day. And it is very gratifying when people think that the work you're doing is enjoyable for them to watch and share. And sometimes they pick up some good information for working on their bike. It's a win-win. So we're just going to have to see what the weatherman has in store for us today. I don't know. But I do know I need my coffee. Time for that coffee. That'll get me motivated today. I need some motivation today. As always, the birds are hungry. Free seeds will do that to you. As I get down to the shop this morning, what do I see? Oh, we had a great day yesterday. We got a lot of work done on this. Basically, a lot of the stuff we have to do now is around the hub. Most of it's around the hub. And the spokes, we've got to get rid of all these nasty little things that they cast into the spokes. A lot of grinding, a lot of sanding. And the truth is, nobody's coming over to help me. So one of the first things I wanted to show that's really a good tip. This is industrial grade sandpaper. This is what they make sanding belts out of. Very thick backing, and it's 180 grit. I got this from Dave Midgley. He had a friend at Norton Abrasives, and they graciously donated this to our cause. And I'm going to show a really good trick how you can use this on a job like the wheel. This wheel is a perfect candidate for using this. And it's a tricky little thing. If you really are doing this kind of work, this will really be a useful tool. So I wanted to start with, this is a really good tip too, by the way. This is sticky back sandpaper. It's sticky on the back. And this is useful because it comes as a big roll, and as you use it up, of course the diameters change. And now that gets in all these radius edges. Now, there's a lot of way to do radius edges, but there's a great way to make an infinitely adjustable tool, and I want to show this. And I've used this in modeling, but you need to have the sandpaper that has the really, it's like a sanding belt, or to be realistic, you could use an old sanding belt that's worn out for this kind of work. But anyway, what you do is you cut a piece of that off, as you see right here. Pretty easy to do. Decide what diameter you think those little radiuses are. And what I do is just roll it up until I think I'm at the right radius. Go over and do a little check. A little bit bigger than that. But I could make this infinitely big, small. Now because it's got a real stiff backing, it's almost already like a baseball bat. You don't need a mandrel in it. Now, if you're really careful, let me just show this. If you're really careful with this, you can take some tape. Sometimes you can do it without even putting tape on it. It doesn't even matter. But in modeling, you're usually sanding wood. So now what this is going to allow me to do is have a tool, and this is one of the areas that's going to be very visible. And that's going to allow me to get in there and get those radiuses polished, get them sanded, get all the little burrs and casting flaws off. Now, when I want to go into the smaller diameter, I'll just either make another tool or unroll some of this or squeeze it together and it'll get down in there. I need a small diameter. But for right now, this is a tool. Once you make this, the first time you use it, you go, holy mackerel. Is that ever a good tool? And most of the work I have to do on this is right where the hubs join the spokes and all these little valleys in here, and then I have to get this nice and smooth. So this tool is going to be really valuable today. Sometimes you buy a real expensive tool and it doesn't really work as well as advertised. And this is a case where you have a tool that costs almost no money. And when you use this the first time, you will really be impressed. This is a tool that works. Now I've roughed in and gotten rid of most of that gap in there, but you can see on the smaller side, you can still see the joint. I'm not sure you can see it, but anyway, it's in there. So what I'm going to do is take my trusty tool, unwind it until it's this diameter, and then get all the smaller ones. I do all the big ones, then I'll do the smaller ones, and then the smallest. These are the 3 different radiuses that I have to deal with, and that tool is very helpful doing this. Well, I just figured it was easy to make another tool, smaller diameter. If I need to make a third one, I can make that, but of course the thing I want to have is have infinitely adjustable diameter. And this, because and it doesn't have to be an exact diameter either. This can be used it's a pretty flexible tool. But once you use that, you realize, wow, is that a handy animal to have in a toolbox? Now, an advantage over power tools of any kind, this doesn't gouge. It takes very thin slices of material away. It does not leave big gouges. So that was really handy for getting in all these radiuses, but I still have to do the ones around the leg where that gets down and makes the joint. Then the last thing, I'll have to sand these by hand. But having these tools is really, it's handier than you think it would be. And what happens, the power tools dig in. This really is, it takes probably a little bit longer to do this by hand, but in the end there's no corrections because at no point in time do those tools dig in and put a gouge. So, and I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Now I spent an awful lot of hand labor just doing the radiuses and doing the edges and corners and everything on the front wheel, and I sure don't want to skimp on the back wheel. And it really is handy. Now, because there's a 10-spoke wheel, everything is 20 of everything. So when I did the FZR wheels, there were only 3 spokes. A lot easier, but of course everything with a job like this, always a labor of love. And the last photo shoot I did, I looked in the bright sun, how the silver was reflecting in these radiuses and on the hub. And as I was pushing the bike and trying to shoot pictures, I just looked at the sun reflecting off of those spokes. I was really, really impressed. So I'm even inspired to put more time in on this wheel. Now the next thing, you can see all the casting flaws. There's lettering on the other side. We got to take care of these. We have a little tool, a little sanding drum that goes in the electric drill. And I want to be real careful not to distort this shape. I just want to grind just enough off. I'll do the rest by hand at these. And that's, I'm sure, how they fill the mold with the liquid aluminum. So it's, again, it's what separates a custom wheel from a stock wheel. And all that flat casting. Now, this worked out well on the front wheel. This is an ordinary Harbor Freight mandrel. And you have the choice of having sandpaper that has a little threaded nib on it, or this is a coarse, fine, or medium. It's an abrasive pad that you can dress off some of the aluminum with, but these very inexpensive tools, another thing that'll make any job a lot easier. Now, one of the only downsides of using these grinders indoors is you just get a lot of aluminum dust, and there's nothing you can do about it. Vacuum it up or just change your towel on a regular basis and clean up at the end of the day. So these are the casting things, and we've just got that flat, and now we'll use that pad to just smooth that out just a little bit, because this is one of the things you're going to see is the ends of the spokes. So I've been real careful and real patient about doing it. The other side's going to be a lot more work with the lettering. Now this sandpaper, it's 100 grit sandpaper, it's very aggressive about removing material, so I'm really gentle with it. I really don't want to press down and put a gouge in this wheel. I priced out the wheel on Partzilla. They're about 350 bucks new. So on the drill, I'm using the 100 grit first, and then finishing it up with the soft pad. This is the soft one, and it will get around corners just a little bit better. This one, it wears out the edge. But again, all these things together, they're very, very inexpensive, and they make a job like this a lot easier than if you did everything by hand. And of course, I finish up every step of this, every part, with hand sanding. No matter what tool you use, in the end, you have to hand sand. It's nice and smooth now, radiused a little bit. We got the hub to do later. I want to flip this over and do the other side, as long as I have the electric drill out, and get that lettering taken care of. Now this is something, when I grind this away, I don't want to have this, that I put waves in this. I want to have a nice flat line. So when I'm done, first off, I'll be real careful grinding into it, and then at the end, block sand it out with a sanding block. And of course, there's some legitimate reason why they mold this in. Boy, they're not cheap with that. And they got these 5 of these things. I don't know what this is. This is telling them something about when the casting job was done. See, there's numbers on it. Ay, ay, ay. Thank you, Yamaha. I'm glad you did that. And the sanding and the little grinding pads, they really put a nice finish on it. The only problem is you got to be delicate. You can't press on it too. So this really took a lot of energy to get this off. I thought these were going to grind right down. I wanted to get that off. I don't want to see that. I was going to try to put a radius in there, but maybe I shouldn't get too cute. Now this is the side of the wheel I want to spend extra time on. And this has the most lettering, and this is the side that's going to take twice as long as the other one. And you just wish Yamaha put a few, they could put us all in one. Well, who even knows what that means? R5, I guess that's the name of the wheel. Anyway, we have a good half an hour of grinding there. This is just getting to be a long day, but I'm really happy the way this is working out, because I know I'm closing in on it. Actually, almost every wheel I've done, maybe all of them in fact, somewhere on the wheel they have these things cast in, and you don't know what they mean. Some of them are coated. But if you're going to do a custom wheel, getting rid of them and then getting that area perfectly smooth, that it's like that never existed, that takes a little more time than you think it would. Well, that was a lot of work cleaning out that lettering. Wow, am I glad that's done. Sometimes you spend a lot more time on one little thing. You don't even realize how much time it's going to take. But we are basically at the end of this day. We're going to head over to the kids' house and see the construction. And we've been trying to do that every day, because these are the last few days they're going to be living at their house, and then they're going to be living here. Well, in today's email, and this is why I love having this channel, this is from our friend in Romania. This is from Stephen Hendley. I hope I'm saying it right. He has an MT09. He watches all the Windy videos, and he can't wait to see what the bike looks like with silver wheels. I'm not sure. He said this looks like a safety vest. His bike. I'm not sure, but look at the 09. See that 09 on the front cal? Yamaha got that one wrong. See, now if we had John Pothier in Romania, they could fix that. Very cool. Here's another shot of his bike, an MT09, but look at that O, the 9 is cut off. Now, boy, isn't that, don't you think Yamaha, somebody at Yamaha should have got that paycheck cut off. Anyway, it's all in the eye of the beholder. He's got an aftermarket exhaust on it, looks like, Acropovic. Well, to be honest, the thing is pretty cool. I would paint the wheels in that 09 silver and be done with it. Anyway, Stefan, I hope I'm saying your name right. You know, I've been to Europe many times, and I know people over there have a different view of motorcycling than we have, but God, thanks through YouTube, we can share it all. Hey, and thank you for sharing the photos. Let's hope we can stay in touch and that you do enjoy the rest of the mods I'm going to do to my MT09. Thanks for sharing, Stefan. Oh, well, I'm on a computer. This came from Australia, from Stephen Walker. Of course, we've seen this bike before. And I'm looking at, he's got two different color wheels here. I'm not sure if that's, well, on purpose or what. Hey, Stephen, I have two sets of wheels too, so. And he said he wanted to show us his dogs. Now, as Luciano knows, we do love animals in his family. Buddy, Luciano's dogs, among others. This is Stephen's bike down under in Australia, CBR 1100. I do like that little writing up on the front fender, that little sticker, decal, whatever it is. And this is really a nice bike. And I have to be honest, I do enjoy hearing from people all over the world. I used to hear from people all over the world about model planes, and of course I still do. But it's very nice when I see somebody like Stephen that watches the videos and was able to put the information to good use down under. And I was explaining on a previous video about orange peel, and he put that information right to good use, and he thanked me for it in an email. Stephen, I really thank you for sharing the pictures. And he says he can't buy 4CR down in Australia. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of other good polishes, though. You just got to search around. And I see he's fixing a scratch here with 2000 grit. And thank you to everybody that shares the world we have a passion for of motorcycling and painting and customizing. And of course, the biggest things, riding. Boy, I really feel good. The last couple days, we've really made some progress on this. I think one more day I've got to grind away at the hub. And then the big thing is I'll probably spend a whole session, a whole day, which I always do, just final sanding, detail sanding before I prime it. But we are really closing in on this. Now, those sanding tools that I showed, they work great. The things I showed doing the front wheel, see, I'm trying to show everything. Just so there's no, you know, nothing, no stone left unturned. No wheel left unturned. But anyway, I thank you to everybody that contributes and sends in pictures like we got today in email. It's just been a great thing having this YouTube channel. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the interaction, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. We look forward every day to seeing progress on the construction. We're at the kid's house. I bet his business has doubled since he's been on a windy video. We're gonna go check out the progress. Oh, every day there's progress. Hey, they got the siding up already. Wow. Windows are in, siding is up. Wow. That's the part of the job I like, the overage. Oh, yeah. How's it look, baby? Good? Wow, it looks nice to me. Oh, anybody that's been following the progress of this? Wow. And I'm just going to be able to have very small motorcycles. Yeah, that looks good, baby. They're going to have great storage under there, too. Now he's going to break through into the kitchen. The next step. Okay. Amazing. Amazing how quick this went up, and considering how bad the weather was. That's an amazing amount of work. Amazing. Just amazing. Yeah, it's going to be time very soon to break through the walls. They got to take the back of the house out now. Now that he's dried in. Buddy, are you excited to see us? Buddy! Oh my God, he's so excited. So where am I going to be able to park the motorcycles now that you have the blueprints out?
That's the back of the house.
Oh my God.
Hold on 1 second.
I didn't know you were an architect.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
So by the day's end, I have to resign myself to the fact that it's not going to be more than a couple days at best. The kids are going to be moving in here to live here. I don't know how that's going to affect the videos yet. It won't really matter to me. We've got to get that house. The room that they've added and the new kitchen is going to change their life forever, for the better, and for Buddy too. And to be honest, if I miss a few days, you'll understand why. There's going to be a lot of extra furniture moving and shopping and whatever, making making beds and making mattresses and whatever here. But anyway, we're going to figure it out. That's what families do, and we're going to figure it out once and for all here. And when they go back to live in their house at the other house, when it's all done, they're going to feel just like I feel at the end of one of these motorcycle restorations, where you look around and you go, wow, especially the FZR, 900 hours. But boy, I jump on that bike and I totally forget those 900 hours, and all I think about is listening to the exhaust and just trying to find some place I can go through the gears or lean into a turn or whatever. But everybody does enjoy motorcycling differently. It's a unusual sport, hobby, whatever you want to call it. Some people like cruising, some people like dirt bikes, some people like totally stock bikes, some people like to work on their own bikes, some people like custom bikes. I kind of like custom bikes. But of all the bikes, there's only one purpose for having motorcycles: to ride them. To have bikes that you don't ride, well, it just wouldn't work for me. They are made to be rolling works of art, and when the purpose of having them, and it's going to happen very soon, I'm going to jump on that bike, maybe even tomorrow, I don't know. We got some nice break in the weather here. Actually, today was pretty good, and I can't wait to jump on a bike and just go for a couple hours, get 100 miles or so on a bike. And to me, it won't matter which bike in the collection it is, because it's not going to be the MT09 unless I want to have a unicycle. But having the choice of bikes and knowing that they're all different, they all represent a different part of my life, as I've been involved in motorcycling for probably 60 years now. And the problem is, I enjoy all of the bikes. It's a real problem. So if you enjoyed the video, I hope you share it with your friends. And of course, I hope, most of all, that we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks again for watching.